Hello everyone. Now we are going to discuss the next topic, that is magnification factor. In the last topic we considered the force damped system equations as well as the solutions, where we have seen that particular integral remain in the system. And when we focus on the particular integral equations, you will get the amplitude that is independent of time. Okay, we have seen. So magnification factor means what? Magnification factor is nothing but the ratio. It is the ratio of amplitude upon f naught upon s. This is the magnification factor. Okay. So when you put the value of amplitude, you will get, I'm just writing here, 1 upon under root of 1 minus omega by omega n to the whole square and bracket whole square plus 2 zeta omega by omega n whole square. This is what the magnification factor we get when you put the value of amplitude here, and we know that the amplitude value in the last topic, and you can see the amplitude value. So I'm just putting here and you will get the magnification factor. See, in the examinations they generally ask to find out the magnification factor, and we are going to represent the magnification factor on the graph, because there is a number of questions going to be asked in the examinations. So this is very very important. Okay. Now see here, amplitude. When you put the value of amplitude, you can get the value of this. Now you can see the magnification factor is a function of ratio of frequency. That means omega by omega n. Now see here, zeta is constant for a particular type of damping system. That means, because we know that when zeta is less than 1, we generally consider under damping. When the zeta is greater than 1, there is no vibration, so we are not going to represent it. Okay. So that's why there are three cases basically: zeta is less than 1, greater than 1, and equal to 1. Okay. So magnification factor, you can see here, when I'm talking about the under damping, first case I'm going to consider under damping. You can see. So first case I'm going to consider under damping. When I'm talking about under damping, you all know very well that zeta is less than 1 in case of under damping. Okay. So when you see the graph, it will be like that. You will understand the graph, how it works. This is the value of a magnification factor that's equal to 1. You will understand this full graph. Let me draw the diagram. Okay. Then I will show you how can we understand this graph completely. This is like that. This is like that. So we are drawing the graph between magnification factor and the ratio of omega by omega n. So it is like that. Now you are going to understand this complete procedure. When you put the value of, when I'm talking about the under damping, this is the highest point of the curve. Okay. So there is a zeta value, which is zeta is equal to, let me, 0.8. There will be a zeta value 0.6. What I am going to show you by this value, I am going to show you that when the value of zeta decreases, that means when under damping increases. Are you getting my point? Because in case of under damping, zeta is less than 1. We all know that. So when there is a decrease in the value of damping factor, damping ratio zeta, that means under damping increases. And when the under damping is going to be, when under damping increases, you can say it is just because of zeta value decreases. Okay. So when the zeta value decreases or damping under damping increases, the magnification factor value increases. You can see the diagram. Magnification factor value increases, and it becomes zero. After some time. Okay, after a very less value of zeta becomes zero. This is the value of that we can get less than 1. So after long time that will become 0, and when the zeta value becomes 0, it will be considered as no damping. Whenever you see no damping, that means the damping factor or damping ratio becomes 0. So that is the zeta value that becomes 0 after a long time. Okay, and corresponding to this would be value 1. What is omega by omega n is equal to 1 representing that there is a resonance. So there is a resonance. At resonance condition, there is no damping. This is a resonance condition. You all know resonance condition when the frequency becomes equal. So at resonance conditions, zeta is equal to 0. That means there will not be any damping. But as the value of zeta decreases, magnification factor increases. So you can see here, magnification factor is going to be increases here. So I'm writing here that magnification factor increases. And we know magnification factor is directly proportional to the amplitude. You can see this formula. It is directly proportional to the amplitude, so that's why amplitude is also increases. Are you getting my point? And we know if the amplitude increases, the running life of the mechanical system decreases. Running life of mechanical system decreases because we don't want vibrations in any mechanical system, because it decreases the running life of the system if the vibration is there. So as you increases the amplitude of the vibrations, of course there will be decrease in the running life. Yes or no? So this is what about the underdamping. Now the second case I am going to consider. We have to calculate the maximum amplitude value. See here, maximum amplitude means it would be at maximum value of magnification factor. Yes or no? Because both are directly proportional to each other, and we are drawing the graph between magnification factor and the ratio of omega by omega n. So if you want to calculate the maximum amplitude value, you just have to find out the maximum magnification factor position. If I'm talking about the value omega by omega n less than 1, because at the equal to 1 position there will be a resonance. So I'm talking about the less than 1. So there is the under damping. Because why I'm going to say this, let us understand. You can see up to resonance zeta value decreases. Up to resonance zeta value decreases. Are you getting my point? Up to resonance zeta value continuously decreases. So that's why when the omega by omega n less than 1, there will be under damping, or sometimes it is called as viscous damping. And at the position omega by omega n is equal to 1. This is known as resonance, and at these conditions no damping is there. No damping. You can see the graph. At the resonance condition, no damping is there. But when I'm talking about the position omega by omega n is equal to 0, there is overdamping, overdamping, this is overdamping or critical damping, overdamping or critical damping. Sometimes it is called as Coulomb damping, overdamping is called as Coulomb damping. So, whenever the value of omega by omega is equal to 1, you can see this is the 0 value, and at this value 0, at this 0 value, there will be a, this is magnification factor is equal to 1 here at this position. Okay, so this is the overdamping or critical damping condition. And when you draw the graph, the zeta would be greater than equal to 1. This is the curve. But this is the curve when the omega by omega is greater than 1 and less than magnification factor less than 1. But I'm talking about the omega by omega 1. Omega by omega is equal to 0. So at this position, magnification factor is equal to 1. Okay, known as overdamping or critical damping. Now, in the third case, I'm going to consider, which is the last one. In the third case, I am going to consider amplitude at resonance. At resonance, sometimes likely questions you can see in the examinations on these cases. This is an important cases I am going to write here. Resonance means what? When omega by omega n is equal to 1. Okay. So what would be there? You can say that formula is f naught upon s. So when you put omega by omega is equal to 1 in the formula of amplitude, you will get the value of f naught upon s upon 2 zeta. You can see this is inversely proportional to the damping factor or damping ratio. Okay. So I hope you will not get any doubt here. Again, I am going to repeat here. Magnification factor is a function of amplitude. It is the ratio of amplitude and f naught upon s. So you can get the value. You just have to learn the formula directly. This is very important formula, numerical point of view. So I'm just representing the magnification factor, which is also the function of ratio of frequency. And you can see this when the omega by omega is less than 1, that means resonance condition. So there will be an increase in the underdamping. When the magnification factor is greater than 1, there is the a decrease in the zeta value, where that means the increase in the underdamping. So there will be a increase in magnification factor. You can see here. Okay. As magnification factor increases, amplitude will increase. Amplitude will increase means the running light decreases. In the second case, we are going to see that amplitude will be maximum whenever magnification factor will be maximum. So we are going to see the conditions when the ratio is less than 1, that is under damping or viscous damping. When the ratio equal to 1, that is the resonance condition, and this condition we can see in the diagram that this is a no damping condition, that means zeta value is equal to 0. But as the omega by omega is equal to 0, there will be a over damping or critical damping in case zeta is greater than equal to 0. So I hope you will understand this whole procedure. Now I'm just writing here a note. You can understand this. Write down a note in this topic. Now see here, we know that the x is equal to a sine omega t minus phi. This is the equations of forced damped system. We have find out in the last topic our forced damped system or the vibration on the running mechanical system. We got these equations where a representing the amplitude, okay, and you know the value of amplitude. So x is equal to, x is basically the displacement. If you find out the velocity, it would be x dot. So that means a omega. You can differentiate it with respect to time. You will get a omega t minus phi. That is the velocity. And if you want to calculate the accelerations, that would be again we can have a differentiation with the of the velocity with respect to time. So it would be a omega square. Now, what is the differentiation of cos theta? That is minus sin theta. We all know that. So that would be minus a omega square sin omega t minus phi. Okay. So what is our intentions to write it down? And if you want to rearrange this, you will get a omega sin. I'm just writing in terms of sin theta. So it would be sin pi by 2 plus omega t minus phi. We can write it down. Okay. So sin 90 plus theta is cos theta, and it is we know that in the second quadrant sin theta is positive. Okay. So all the three equations in terms of sin theta. Now we just have to put these value in the equations of force dynamic system. What is our force dynamic system equations? General equation I'm going to write mx double dot plus cx dot plus sx is equal to f naught sin omega t. This is our equations. Now rearrange these equations and just you can write it down that f naught sin omega t minus mx double dot. That's a very important things we are going to study here. Cx. I will let you know what types of questions going to be asked on this topic. Sx. It would be in minus mx double dot minus cx dot minus sx is equal to 0. Okay, we are rearranging these equations. So this is the basic equations basically. We know that. Now we just have to put down x double dot value, x dot and x value here. So this is f naught sin omega t. Now x double dot, when you see the x double dot value, it is in minus. So this minus and this minus will becomes plus. That means m a omega square sin omega t minus phi. Okay, now you know that mx double dot is the inertia forces. This complete terms denoting the, this is f a omega square sin omega t minus phi representing the inertia force. And if it is representing the inertia force, so what would be the maximum value of the inertia force? That would be m omega square, because sin theta is maximum value is equal to 1. So that means m a omega square representing the maximum value of inertia forces. Now this would be minus c, and what is the velocity value? That is c a omega sin pi by 2 plus omega t minus phi. Omega t minus phi. Okay, and minus s. What is the value of x? That is a sin omega t minus phi. So we are just putting directly values here is equal to 0. Now we will understand these equations. See here. This is f naught sin omega t, where when you focus on the f naught sin omega t, f naught representing the maximum unbalanced force value. This is f unbalanced. We have already seen it before. That is the maximum value, because this is m omega square. Okay. Similarly, when you put sin theta or sin omega t minus phi is equal to 1, that is the maximum value, so you will get ma omega square. So that's why this is representing the maximum inertia forces, Fi maximum. Similarly, this would representing the maximum damping force value. This is F damping maximum. Similarly, this is the this is the maximum spring force, F spring maximum value. So what is we are going to do? We are going to represent this all four forces into the diagram, and then we will see what is the difference between them. Okay, so let me draw the diagram. Now see here, this is the graph that I have drawn here. So this is the graph that I have drawn here. Thus we are going to represent all the forces into this diagram. Now see here, this is the this is omega t, this is omega t. Okay, let us understand. This is omega t, and at angle omega t there is a force, that is maximum force we are going to represent F naught. Okay, which is maximum, which is maximum. Now we know that this is inertia forces, angle is omega t minus phi. Minus phi means less than phi value. That means it would be omega t minus phi. If this is omega t minus phi, if this is omega t minus phi, this would be phi. This would be phi. So it would be inertia forces maximum value. Yes or no? Okay. And when you see this, that's why we are going to convert this all terms into sine angle. Okay. So all these angles are sine angles. That's why. So this is pi by 2 plus omega t minus phi. That means what is the angle? Omega t minus phi, this F inertia forces. So you have to consider 90-degree angle, but you have to add 90-degree at this angle. But the thing is that there is a minus sign. Minus sign means in the reverse direction. That's why it would be like that, and this would be damping force maximum value. Okay, that means damping force is at 90-degree angle, but the thing is that it is in the reverse direction. Okay, and when you focus on the spring force, that's S into A. So when you see the angle, that is omega t minus phi, similar to that inertia forces, but the thing is that there is a minus sign, so that's why it would be in opposite directions to that of inertia forces. So there will be a F spring, maximum value, F spring maximum value. So by default you can see that the spring force and the damping force are also at a 90-degree angle. Okay, these are 90-degree angle both to each other. So I hope you will understand these certain things. So if I ask you questions, then you will be able to understand what is going to be asked in the examinations. So I'm just asking you one question. Tell me that if this is a graph like that, okay, and this is going to be denoted as F naught. This is phi. Okay, this is phi, and this is the d. This is the d vector, and this is c vector. So now tell me, what is c vector? What is the force that is represented by c vector and that is represented by d vector? Tell me, if this is F naught. Now, how to solve this question? Let us understand. See, this is the phi angle. Okay, we know that inertia forces angle between that means the angle between the inertia forces and F naught is phi. This is represented as F inertia. When you see the actual diagram, there will be a difference between the angle difference between the inertia and the unbalanced force, that is phi. So that means this line representing the inertia forces. And we all know that inertia forces and damping force having 90-degree difference. in angle. Okay, and we know that spring force is opposite to that. That means at 180-degree angle. That means this representing the spring forces. Okay, so that means C representing the damping force and D representing the spring forces. I hope you will understand how to solve these questions. Okay, we have to measure the things with respect to inertia forces because we know that the F naught is phi angle ahead from the inertia forces. So that means inertia forces is this line, and if the inertia forces is representing this vertical line, that means according to that we know that damping force damping force is 90 degree at an angle 90 degree, but in the opposite directions. That means in the reverse directions. And spring forces is in the opposite directions. That means in the 180-degree angle you can say. So this is you just have to calculate types of questions you can see in the examinations. So you just have to know the actual diagram, what is the actual diagram, how it looks like, then you'll be able to understand this whole procedure. So I hope you will understand this whole concept. So thank you.